In this video, talking about the sun in Aquarius and the moon in Sagittarius, which are two visionary signs. Sagittarius comes before Aquarius. First, you learn and you educate yourself, Sagittarius, and you see what is going on, and then you experience it and learn therefrom. Through the experience, Aquarius. Aquarius is the experience. It is the truth of the actual, I was going to say actuality, of the actual event from what you've learned. And even after the experience, Aquarius, you learn, Pisces, and that Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces as well. You learn, Sagittarius, then there's the lesson, and then the experience. The lesson before the experience? Yeah, we'd have to put that together. We'll get to that in a later video. Welcome in. If you enjoy the content, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe. Welcome in. If you're over here on TikTok, I'm on YouTube. You can hear way more better. Peace. How are you? Peace and wellness. Multi-instrumental. I was looking for a multi-instrumentalist, classically trained. Come on over. YouTube name is the same as it's spelled up here. Same lab coat, same brown reddish face. In the summertime, it's a little red. It gets a little red in the summer. A bread tone. Brown and red combinación en español. Maximus, thank you so much. Just for you coming in here and saying, have a good day. I appreciate that. That's like giving me $1. When you comment, when you give it a thumbs up, when you listen, when you apply it to your life, it's like giving me $1. Ms. Cream Moon, that's another $1 given by commenting. That is awesome. Out Grand Rising. Let's go. Sagittarius. Moon. Learning, reflecting on what we've learned as well. I want to share, or I want to take this moment to um, appreciate everybody. Supreme beings, let's go. Another $1 we received. Penelope, let's go. Whatever CCR is, I don't know what that means. Talk about it. Spell it out for me. I'm a little slow sometimes. Early in the mañana. Moon and Sagittarius. I am strong this morning. Sun in Aquarius. Thank you so much. I want to take this time to say thank you for all those who subscribed at the beginning of the journey. And I also want to share with you, this channel is about not only interpreting symbolism of the cosmos, this channel is also about health and wellness. Why? Because that's what I'm into. I paid considerable attention to my nervous system. I look at myself like the test subject and the scientist, even though I'm not, you know, a papered scientist. I mean, I didn't get a certificate and say, "Here, Cosmic Alchemist, this paper's for you," with a gold sticker on it, with hard paper, cardboard type paper, give it quality. But I am a student of life, just like I'm of the mind that you are. Thus, there and for. There's that. In addition, what else do I also do? I talk about some of my life experiences and I actually apply. Why I'm the test subject and the scientist is because I apply the stuff that I share on myself. Like, for example, while the moon is in Sagittarius, physiologically, Sagittarius has correlates to the thighs and the hips and the sciatic nerve, even the vagus nerve, and as well as the skin. Not for nothing. I'm going to focus in on the hip area because I've done some research. I could be wrong because I am wrong sometimes. So there's that. So take what I say as a grain of salt, do the research for yourself, then come back. Hey, buddy, brown guy, you're right. Hey, brown guy, you're wrong. I'll be like, hey, appreciate that. Let me go back and dig in there. But what I'm trying to say is that the hips hold trauma. And I was like, wow, hips hold trauma. I don't know how I did all those sports and I wasn't really that flexible. Anyway, we did it. But I'm the test subject now at my young age of working on stretching my hip region, pushing past some of the limits. There's a little tension, I give it a little stretch. It's important. Mobility is important, not for nothing. And I get that as an alchemist, which in general terms means someone who observes. I observe myself. I'm into observing myself a little more. I'm also, um, I don't know, I'm like a year, almost a year and a half, um, substance free. So that's also another part to it. I'm kind of like, um, I'm not one who goes to church, but I'll use the term born again, not for nothing. So there's that. So I talk a little bit about that stuff, but I'm not a professional, meaning I don't have a certificate or a paper, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any, I didn't go to school for this stuff. This stuff is, I did go to school. I got associate's degree, but um, some of these other topics, self-taught. And what I think, what I am of the mind that I'm on the yellow brick road like Dorothy in Tokyo, is that I try these things on myself. I'm like, I identify as the scientist prescribing myself the test subject. Hey, do this, and, do some hip stretches, do some yoga, do some happy baby poses, maybe. Oh, that looks weird. People will think that you're weird. Okay, well, do it in the dark. Do it when no one's looking. Have you read Immortals Eternal Themes of Fallen? I haven't read that. No, I haven't. I haven't read that. Um, if you'd like, another thing too, if you're a type of person who likes to come into the comments and say short things, you know, I appreciate you. I'm thankful. However, stay for a little while and see if it's worth its salt. Long, long time ago, people used to be paid in salt. Are you worth your salt? I'm of the mind that I'm worth my salt. Zodiac sign in the comments, and I'll share with you a little bit. I didn't even pull up a chart to put in my green screen. I can say whatever I want. You can say whatever you want. Freedom of speech is powerful until you get a lump on your chin. Until you get a lump on your chin. It's crazy. It's wild. It's interesting how things work, consequences for the things that we say when it affects other people's emotions. Anyway, so there's that. I wanted to share that. Um, definitely do your own research. Morning, welcome in. How are you? And I'm of the mind that the planetary energies in this solar system carry with them energetic through their size, their motion, and that's felt on the planet Earth as the planet Earth is inside of that solar system. Mm. Okay. Now I have a little something that I took some notes here on the Sun in Aquarius, Moon in Sagittarius. Be sure, feel free to ask questions. Put your zodiac sign in the comments, your big three, anything like that. For example, Aries, Miss Cree, Aries, right? If we look at Aries and its relationship to Aquarius, it's a air, Aquarius, fire, Aries combination. That's a natural combination. Air feeds fire. There's a motivation going on there, a little bit, possibility. Through knowledge, Aquarius, and truth. Moon in Sagittarius by transit. Fire sign, moon in, or sun in Aries, fire sign, two fires, right? A motivation, if you will. Are you with me? I don't know what you mean. Chin is already a lump. What do you mean by that? You need some water? Melissa from New Zealand, welcome. Your birthday's coming in hot. Coming in hot. How are you? Pisces, water sign. Aquarius, air sign. What does air do to water? Kind of spreads it out a little bit, right? Maybe it might be um, beneficial for you to regulate the nervous system so you don't feel so spread thin by all the ideas that you have. Also, the rest, not for nothing, is important for when we look at the relationship between Aquarius and Pisces. Sagittarius is a fire sign, Pisces is a water sign. Water puts out fire a little bit, right? Maybe not as motivated. Or maybe the Sagittarius heats up the water a little bit, activate the belief system, perhaps, and the inner vision. I've noticed that over the course of the past 26 years that when the sun transits Aquarius for Pisces, they're tapped in a little bit more to their internal dialogue. It could be a positive thing or a sunny side, or it could be a negative thing or a shadow experience. But it's tapped in a little bit more to the inner dialogue. And in addition to that, one's hidden potential starts to show, or you start to peek into areas where there's possibility. 12th house stuff. 12th house is the house of secret sorrow. This is what's activated now. So there's that. Thank you so much. I want to go in here to my notes a little bit here and share this what I have for you. Um, Sun in Aquarius. So both Sagittarius and Aquarius are both about visionary. Are it's symboled as a centaur, half person, half horse, with a bow and arrow at the same time. So that symbolism there, we can extract something from that, especially the bow and arrow portion. An archer, we would call someone who works in bow and arrowism. Bow and arrowism is an archer, and they look for the bullseye. They look to hit the mark, especially when learning, especially when expanding one's horizons. Right? So that has to do with vision. Aquarius is also a sign of is also can be symbolized as a visionary. There's a focus on perspective, truth, change, future thinking is Aquarius. Moon in Sagittarius, emotional tone of optimism. That is a key word for Sagittarius, optimism. Being optimistic, hope for the future. Each zodiac sign is ruled by a planetary ruler. So, what does that mean? It means that there's a planet that's attributed to each zodiac sign. For example, Scorpio is ancient rulership. It's Mars, modern rulership, Pluto. So Mars and Pluto, wherever they are in your chart, they speak a little bit more about that scorpionic. Pisces, ancient rulership, if you will, Jupiter, modern rulership, Neptune. So wherever you have Jupiter, Neptune in your natal chart, activated. Aries, Mars, only one ruler from Mars. Some signs have one sign ruler, some signs have two. Mars is the ruler of Aries. If you look to see where Mars is, it'll explain a little bit more about that Aries nature. What other signs do we have in here? Um, Aquarius. I think you left, Maximus. Aquarius has two: modern rulership, Saturn. Or excuse me, ancient rulership, Saturn. Modern rulership, Uranus. Okay. And so with the sun in Aquarius and the moon in Sagittarius, we have Saturn as ancient ruler of Aquarius, Uranus, the modern ruler of Aquarius, Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius. So Saturn, Uranus, and Jupiter. So what we can do with that information is we can pull up a chart. Hang on, let me get a chart real quick. An up-to-date chart. Okay, we're back. Ba-da-bop. Okay, so here's a chart here of today, the 11th, master number 11 at 11. And I wanted to show you these planetary stations. We have Saturn in Pisces at 29 degrees 44 arc minutes, which is the ancient ruler of Aquarius. It's also the ruler of Capricorn. Some of you are like, wait a minute, isn't there another sign? Yes, Capricorn. Saturn rules Capricorn. Saturn rules Aquarius as a co-ruler. Uranus. First, let's Saturn's in Pisces. Uranus was in Taurus at 27 degrees 29 arc minutes. It just went direct in its direct motion. It's on its way towards Gemini. You know, this is what comes to mind is the AI experience that we got going on with Uranus and Gemini over the course of the next 7 years. It's interesting. I have some stuff to share about that. Remind me later on in the show. All right. So Saturn in Pisces, Uranus and Taurus activated. It's been activated for a couple weeks now. It's been activated for a couple weeks now, couple 3 weeks ish. Not only in your chart, but also for the collective. And we have Jupiter in Cancer, which is the ruler of Sagittarius. What does this mean? It means that these three planets are highlights, if you will, by the sun and the moon, which are the two lights. The two lights are significant. So I wanted to bring attention to that because Sagittarius, Aquarius, Pisces, Taurus, and as well Cancer are highlighted more than the other signs just by the sun and the moon being, or just by us looking at the lights, the sun and the moon. Okay, there's that piece. That wasn't in my notes, but I wanted to share that. So this is a light, expansive, forward thinking, forward looking day, emotionally and mentally. So it's today and into tomorrow, right? The sun stays in the zodiac sign for 30 days. The moon stays in the sign for approximately 2.5 days. And that visual is good for you to have an idea of how the motion operates, the rhythm and flow. You know, if you like, you can put your zodiac sign in the comments. It's the crab because it's just the crab. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's the crab. It's other animals in different cultures. I associate Cancer with not only the crab, I associate it also with the tortoise as well, because Cancer is the sign of the home and the tortoise carries its home on its back. Not for nothing. And I've heard on my journey, I've heard somewhere that it's the crab because the crab is a sidewalker, and they're connecting the sidewalker, the walking, to the time of the year between June 21st to June 25th, when symbolically the sun sidesteps like the crab for 3 days, the three longest days of the year: June 21st, 22nd, 23rd. 21st to the 22nd, 22nd to the 23rd, 23rd to the 24th, and on the 25th, the days begin to shrink. I heard that somewhere. Um, We'll get into that in a later video. That's what the crab means. That I remember what the crab means from that time. Griya, thank you so much for putting in your birth information. You're an Aries, looks like. Actually, no, that's not Aries. That's actually Pisces. I see you. Welcome in. Pisces here. Got Venus just ingressed into Pisces. Mercury just ingressed into Pisces. North Node is in Pisces. Saturn's getting ready to leave Pisces. Congratulations to all you Pisces. You've made it through this Saturn transit, which is a challenging transit. We're going to get into that continually. And it has played a significant role over the course of the past 3 weeks. So Pisces, you might have felt a little bit more tension. It gives the feeling of, oh, I thought things were better, but they're still showing their face, where in layman's terms, you're still learning. Life is a learning journey. However, the sun being in Aquarius highlights Saturn and Pisces a little bit more to give like mini quizzes around your faith and your belief and what you've learned over the course of the past 2 years. 2.5 years, really. All right. But today, the combination of the sun in Aquarius and the moon in Sagittarius is a forward looking day, as well as for tomorrow, because the moon will be in Sagittarius tomorrow. And then later in the day, the moon will then progress into Capricorn, the sign of structure. So, what this transit feels like, there is a desire to break out of routine. That makes me think of how Sagittarius is part person, part horse. Think of a wild horse for the bottom half of the symbolism of Sagittarius. Wild horses, they run free, no restrictions, no authority figures. Hey, go over here, go over there, just wild, just running. This is the energetic with the moon in Sagittarius. There's an emotional restlessness. Now, that restlessness, it makes me think of the fall. Well, Sagittarius makes me think of the fall, and the restlessness of Sagittarius makes me think of how the mode of Sagittarius, what I'm trying to say is the time of year that Sagittarius is when the sun's transits through it. So Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius are the 3 months, the 3 signs that are attributed to the fall. And so it's a beginning, middle, and end. You'll constantly find this sequence of beginning, middle, end, beginning, middle, end. Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the end of the fall. The zodiac signs at the end of the season signify mutable energy, changeable, adaptable. And so that adaptation and adapting process is related to a restlessness. You know what I mean? Like, I feel a change coming. I don't know what it is type energy, because after Sagittarius is then Capricorn, the winter solstice, right? You see that in the fall. You see that in the winter too, right? Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. These are the 3 winter signs, 3 zodiac signs associated with the winter. When the sun transits Pisces, and for Pisces, they're a little restless at times because it's just before the shift of the spring. Ah, we're here now. Ah, spring cleaning. Similar to the spring. Aries, Taurus, Gemini. These are the 3 zodiac signs of the spring, beginning, middle, end. Taurus is the middle, Gemini is the end. Gemini is a little restless, and that Gemini is the mode of the end of spring as we prepare and get ready for summer. Can't wait. And as well for summer, for the summertime. 3 zodiac signs for the summer: Cancer, Leo, Virgo. Virgo is the end of summer. Virgo is restless in its nature, and it is also a restless energy denoted by the end of summer as we get ready for the fall, Libra. So that's how that works there. But Sagittarius, restless. Sagittarius, restless. Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, restless. It wants growth, not drama. But sometimes there is a little drama there, if you will. Tim, thank you for the gift there, badge. I appreciate you. I'm over on YouTube. Come on over. Same name. If you squeeze all the letters together, Same lab coat picture icon, same brownish reddish face. Okay. Another thing you may notice with this transit, what this transit feels like of the sun in Aquarius, moon in Sagittarius. Easier ability to see the bigger picture. Now, I said in the beginning of this live that Aquarius and Sagittarius are both visionary signs. Visionary because Aquarius is about truth. Aquarius is the middle of the winter. It's considered an anchored point, the fixed signs, not for nothing. Sagittarius is a visionary sign. I think of how the bow and arrow and archer, aiming, seeing nothing but bullseye. When the arrow is let go, you may not hit bullseye, but there's a name for that, is what it is that we see. And we can parallel that into life's experiences as we learn, right? And we expand our horizons. Let's say if you're in school or you're taking a training or a class, you discover things, right? Where you're learning things and you're seeing what you didn't see before. So it's interpreted as a growing, a growth, an expanse. Boom. Less patience for emotional heaviness or pettiness. I have no time, right? We're working on growth. We're working on seeing the future. Aquarius is a futuristic sign down the road. Aquarius is associated with goals. And not for nothing and for something at the same time. Mars is also in Aquarius. Why does that matter? Because the energy of Mars, the god of war, spices things up a little bit. It excites things in the area of goals or bigger picture. Ba-da-bop. All right. Another thing you may notice, a pull toward learning. Here it is again. Exploring or inspiring conversations. So this combo says Aquarius Sun, Sagittarius Moon says, let's move forward, not stay stuck. Capiche? If someone lives in the southern hemisphere, it is flopped. It's the same zodiac signs, but it's flopped. So in Brazil, um, yes, it's summertime right now. It's the middle of summer there. Absolutely. Um, some interpretive sentences for you. For those that are interested in learning astrology, I'm sure there's some. Is there anybody in here who wants to do this astrology stuff for themselves? Raise your hand. Thank you for the thumbs up. Subscribe if you're enjoying the content. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I have about 10 interpretive sentences you can practice that I'm going to practice with you. Me, Sweet Potato wants it. Who else wants it? Miss Cream Moon wants it. Who else? Uh, Maria Middleton, welcome. How are you? Thank you for your subscription and your thumb up. Your thumb up. Who else? James, you got to put your listening ears on. You just got here. Welcome. How are you? Feel free to put your zodiac signs in the comments too at any given time. Oh, it's not easy for chats? Interesting. That's interesting. Libra, welcome. Sugar sweet test. Sweetest. Sugar's sweetest. Interesting. That's interesting. Name. Libra. What comes to mind when I think of Libra? I took a picture the other day. Let me see if it's still there. I'm always taking pictures. How many pictures? Yeah, it's too far back. Take way too many pictures. Libra. Okay, we're going to take a zodiac break before we get to the interpretive sentences. Libra's here. Libra, your love life, right? Libra, also self-love, significant. Libra, communication, communicating with how you feel. Muy importante. En español, in English, very important for you to speak on what you want. Closed mouth doesn't get fed. Sugar's sweetest, right? Hey, would you like some sugar? It's the sweetest. Not thinking it in your head. shortstop. Cancer, here. Great year for growth for you. Cancer, water sign. Aquarius, air sign. Notice how you've possibly potentially been looking at the worth and what you value in others. Sweet potato. The icon picture. I'm like, sweet potato. Who the hell is sweet potato? But I'm like, sweet potato. Now a sweet potato. I know a sweet potato. Thank you so much. Notice how you've been looking at the worth and the value of others. If they're worth it, how they're worth it, when they're worth it. You see that? Notice that? So it points to transformation being a rebirth, you know, renegotiating terms of the contract energetically. Cancer, Sagittarius, health, right? This creates actually a yod. It's called a yod by sign, a zodiac sign yod, not a planetary yod, but a zodiac sign yod. Aquarius, Sagittarius, let my arm serve as the Y. To Cancer, see it? Boop. Cancer, this is the Y. This is the split. Aquarius, skip Capricorn, Sagittarius. There. It's a special circumstance for the emotional content, right? And how you care, right? A teeter totter. It's kind of like some people say fork in the road. I say a Y in the road because it's a split. Why would it be a fork? A fork would be 3 directions or 4 directions. I don't know. We'll talk about that in a later video, but it's a special aspect in astrology where Cancer becomes even that much more pivotal. Not for nothing, especially for Cancers with this collective energy for you. So things hit you a little bit deeper in how people show their worth. Notice that things hit you a little bit differently in how you recognize um and you see things in your foresight for the future. Sagittarius. Not for nothing. I just peeped that. Leo. Leo rising, excuse me. Leo's here. Where's Leo? Leo's here. Aquarius is here. It's an opposite. There's a forever ship. I've been calling it a forever ship. Forever ship is not a word, but Leo and Aquarius, there's 6 forever ships in the chart, or 6 zodiac signs that are always in a relationship with another zodiac sign. Leo is always in opposites relationship to Aquarius. What does that mean? It means that for Leo, it is the relationships. It is quite simply the beginning of the contract and what you're willing to agree to in the relationships. Right? Also being inspired highlights relationships, it highlights fairness. Leo, rising Sagittarius, moon is in the 5th house, the inner child a little bit, play, recreation, entertainment, enjoyment, if you will. Are you with me? I've written down people's charts before, they're very time consuming. It takes a lot of double checking your work. Um, that's one of the best ways. One of the ways that I have learned astrology. It is a lot of work, worth it. Love is hard. Put a little sweet on it. I don't know. Put a little sweet on it. Soften it up. Put some water on it. You know, thank you so much, Gria Zeus Christ. Gria Zeus Christ. I wonder what that means. There's constant sacrifices to sugar sweet, but it's cost to be the boss. You know, there's constant sacrifice. I think of a diamond and a pearl. That whole process. Umbrella, Cancer Sun. We talked about Cancer. I don't know if you how long you've been here. Gemini Moon, Sagittarius rising. So that's an interesting combination. I talked earlier about planetary rulerships. Go back to the beginning of the video. You're going to love it. Talking about planetary rulerships. It's important from my perspective. And what I see, it's important to know the planets that rule the zodiac signs in your big 3. I'm just saying. There's a lot of information there. For real. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. This brown guy on YouTube, he said planetary rulerships. We should check it out for our big 3. Let's do it. But stay there. Sugar sweet, that's the issue. All giving, no receiving. We're going to talk about that later. I'm so excited to read your chart. On Sundays, not for nothing, it's coming up soon. I do deep dive donation based astrology. I pull up your chart and I look at your chart perfect I give you 15 minutes. You donate from your heart, and then we get it going. Sundays. I might add another day, but now it's Sundays for now. First come, first serve, right? If we got a nice little flow going, people comment, we got to bring your friends. You know what I'm saying? We got a huge party. We could be there for 3 hours. It could be 4 hours. I don't know. It could be one. I don't know. First come, first serve. So tell your friends. Ba-da-bop. Anna, hi. Cancer, sun in the 12th. Ooh, private. 12th house, private. You probably heard bad things about the 12th house too, haven't you? Bad things. Ooh, scary, right? I'll share with you some goodness here. Possibility, potentially for goodness with this symbol here. Whenever you see this symbol, it's a sign of goodness. It's a sign of expansion. It's a sign of growth, right? Jupiter, fortune is in the zodiac sign of Cancer. What does this mean for you? It means that Jupiter is possibly potentially in the 12th house. Well, there's a lot of learning, a lot of growth, a lot of expansion in regards to some of your secret sorrows. They start opening up. You know, this is a traumatic house. It's where a lot of the trauma is held in the subconscious, if you will, going back into the subconscious a little bit to understand. And I like the word comprehend as opposed to understand. I don't like to stand under things. I don't like to understand people or stand under people. Get up, get out of there. Get on the side of me. Side stand me. Stand next to me. Don't stand over me, please. Don't stand over me. No, sure. No, Damo, what's good? I'm over here on YouTube. Come through. We need another thumb over here. We only got 18. Come on. And then jump back over to TikTok if you like TikTok platform. It's cool with me. Right? So sun in the 12th house. Thank you for sharing that information. Emotional, protective, right? Families, it's important, but they sometimes do you dirty. It's crazy. But you're learning. This year's year of learning. We'll talk about that maybe on Sunday a little bit more. Cancer, I talked a little bit about this yacht. This is let my arm be. This is a Y. You know what I'm saying? This is the zodiac sign Cancer because you're a Cancer, right? And the sun's in the 12th house. So your yacht is, we'll get into that in another video. But here's Cancer, and the sun is in Aquarius, right? That's one arm of the Y, and the other arm of the Y is the moon in Sagittarius. You see how it skips Capricorn, and then you have the Y, Aquarius, Sagittarius. You see that? And then let this be the trunk. Let this be the trunk of the Y. That symbolizes Cancer. That's a yacht going on. What does this mean? It means that Aquarius and Sagittarius by zodiac sign now, right? Zodiacal yachts, planetary yachts, and there's zodiacal yachts too as well. You heard it here from the brown guy first, right? Aquarius, knowledge and wisdom, they act on the emotions. Ah, the health and the value, how you value others, right, has a significant impact on the emotional content. And it shifts the 12th house a little bit there. Ooh, where it tweaks, you learn, you're like, oh, wow, I didn't look at that before like that. I didn't look at that secret sorrow. Secret sorrows are not a bad thing. They're secret things that bother us, right? Or I'll say that it could be a bad thing, but there's light at the end of the tunnel with the secret sorrow, right? It could be a secret sorrow, but the more that you find out and you accept it and see it for what it's worth, it actually turns into some treasure there, not for nothing. And I've noticed in my studies by contemplating and meditating, if you will, on the 12th house and recognizing that the 12th house is in the same part of the chart that has to do with the early morning. And I was like, ooh, that's pretty interesting. That's interesting to me. Why is that interesting? It's interesting because when you first wake up, you're by yourself and you're in this state of secrecy. Even if you're married and you sleep next to someone, even, you're still wake up by yourself in those first thoughts. It's you know? and you not only look at your secret sorrows or things that you'd like to prove or improve or look at your day ish, there's a lot that goes on there, you know, and there's a lot of potential there. Notice how the first things that we do in the morning kind of carry us through our morning and carry our day. So the 12th house becomes a potential for very special things, not for nothing, and for something at the same time. I spent a little bit of time on that, Anna, Zana, Bobana, Fee, Fi, Fo, Fana, Anna. Thank you so much. Um, your Venus is in Leo too. I'm so excited. I can't wait to look at your chart. Got to make sure my notifications. You better make sure your notifications are on, Nikki. Well, you don't have to. Do what you want. Do what thou wilt. November 29th, the 333rd day. James, you started going in. You started going in. November 29th, Sagittarius. I'll share this with you. Tidbit, little short, little demonstration here. All right, you see this here? This is the symbol of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a visionary, Aquarius is a visionary. All right, it's important for you to speak up, right? Well, I've been speaking up. Well, maybe speak up a little more and or ask questions. You know, the third house makes me think of question asking because it's curious. What about this? What is this? It's like 2 year old. What about this, mom? What about this? What about that? What about this? What about you know what I'm saying? Even if you're 40, still asking questions. That's how you learn. That's how you grow. Sagittarius is in a forever relationship with the zodiac sign Gemini, which is the sign of communication. Gemini is the student, Sagittarius is the teacher student. Sometimes the teacher becomes the student becomes the teacher because the student teaches the teacher. Forevership. In foreverships and in relationships, this zodiac sign Gemini sometimes has the characteristics and natures of Sagittarius. Sometimes the natures of Sagittarius have some of the characteristics of Gemini. I say one hand wash the other, one hand wash the other. They both wash my brown face. I like the brown face thing. That's why I say it. But what I was trying to say, I got excited about the other stuff. But what I'm trying to say is that the moon is in Sagittarius. This is your time. You only get one of these a month. You only get 1 2.5 day segments for yourself a month. What does this mean? It means it's a reunion. It's like a beginning for you personally, James. Right on the 333rd day. It's not the 333rd day, James. Come on, James. That's not the 333rd day. What's your starting point? What is your starting point, sir? I just caught that. You're off. No, you're off. Now I got to digress. Let me learn you something. I don't know if you're a Sagittarius born on 330. I don't know where you started from. I don't know. You'd have had to start from Sagittarius, Capricorn. You'd have to start from Aquarius. That's not how we do that. Is that the 333rd day? It may be the 333rd day. It's not the three. I was thinking 333rd degree. That's what I was thinking. I was actually starting from Aries, 30, 60, 90 below. This is 210. This is 240. Wait a minute. I was starting here, 210 plus 30 is 240. How is that so? That's not right. 180, 210. Scorpio is 210. Sagittarius is 240. Capricorn's 270. Excuse me. 70, 80, 90, 100. Aquarius is 300. Pisces is 330. And the third degree of Pisces would be 330 degree. You're talking about 333rd day. Yes. Thank you so much. So you're starting from December 21st and you calculated it to 300. That would be similar. Yeah. Okay. I was wrong. Excuse me. I interpreted 333 day as 333 degree. Excuse me. My degrees and days. Sweet potato, thank you so much for the wink wink. Appreciate you. And the golden bear, buzzard, the gold and the fluffy heart. Thank you so much. Appreciate you for supporting. I appreciate you so much for more hearts. And I have um over here on YouTube, I also have a bio and ways to donate, but I know that you like the little cartoons over here on TikTok. I know you love it. They're so cute to you. They're so you love them. I thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, James, forgive me. Wrong. I was wrong. But what I'm trying to say here, still, with the moon in Sagittarius, you only get one of these a month. Each month you get one 2.5 day segment to renew, to reset. You know, your sun is in Sagittarius and the moon transits your sun sign. It's similar to a new moon, which is what we got coming up here in like a couple, 3, 4 days. It's going to be a new moon in Aquarius, right? What is a new moon? A new moon's kind of like the first of the month. Time to reset, time to look at what you've accumulated when it comes to learning and what you see. It's a good way in which to uh, tap in and check in with yourself. Nikki, you like that when you said 333? Yeah, that happens sometimes. All right, who else did I miss here? Did I miss somebody else, or can I go back into my session? B Fidele, welcome. Leo Sun, relationships for you. Thank you for your patience. It's the relationships. It's not only the relationships. What is it about relationships? It's negotiations. It's what you're willing to agree to and what you're not willing to agree to, and say, hey, I don't agree with that. Don't do that, or do 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 that. Right? Leo. Leo's in a forever relationship with the sign of knowledge and truth. Leos want their partner to be true to them. Hey, I'm loyal, you be true. I'm loyal, you be true. Leo is loyal. Aquarius is true. Be true to me. Don't lie to me. You know, tell me the truth that you're lying to me. You know, there it is. All right, let me go back into my notes. Thank you so much for putting your zodiac signs in the comments. That was a perfect little segment. I'm so excited to do deep dive donation based interpretations on Sunday. Here's a little, not a little, here's a 10 fluent transit style phrases. Nice. This is a time when awareness expands and emotions seek freedom. Sagittarius is about freedom. If you go back to the beginning of the video, I talked about how Sagittarius is the half person, half horse. If we look at the bottom half of the symbolism and look at the horse, we know that horses are wild. They like to run free. Thus, there in 4, we can interpret the moon in Sagittarius as a freedom, a sense of freedom. Find some freedom, freedom. Find some freedom today, tomorrow for yourself. 2, you may feel emotionally optimistic, another key word for Sagittarius, and mentally ready for change. Gemini, mentally, comes into this relationship between Gemini and Sagittarius, ready for change. Change is Aquarius as well. Aquarius is a revolutionary sign. It's what's interesting to me is in the collective, because this is a chart for the collective, right? And I'm also reading it, interpreting it personally for you, for those who, with the different dynamics that people have been coming in here, sharing their zodiacal information. But what I'm trying to say is that um, the past 3 weeks in the world, we've seen a lot of revolutionary changes, right? It's due to groups of people coming together. This always happens, but it's a little more highlighted. Right? So if it happens every single day, when the sun is in Aquarius, it might happen in more areas every single day. It's amplified, right? What about um there's a natural pull towards bigger ideas, bigger. They get the idea bigger because Sagittarius is the zodiac sign that rules Jupiter is the planet that rules Sagittarius. Jupiter is the biggest planet in the solar system, and it's attributed to Sagittarius, and it's associated with bigger. The same way that the learning that we do in our life, it gets bigger and bigger. The more that we learn, the more growth, the more wisdom, bigger, it gets bigger. It's also associated with the bigger things. And when it comes to the body and the physiology, the thighs, the hips, the sciatic nerve, the femur bone is the biggest, bigger, big, Sagittarius. When we take journeys and we walk from over here, we walk from over there, that's big. The thighs and the hips do the most big. Well, the feet too, the lower extremities from Sagittarius down. But anyway, Sagittarius is big. The skin also has to do with Sagittarius. It's the largest organ in the body. The femur is the largest bone in the body. That's in the thigh and the hip. Big. That's where they get the idea of big, bigger, bigger ideas, broader perspectives right now as we look towards the future and we apply the truths. Big, doing it big, like Fushillo back in the days. Anywho, um, you may feel more honest and direct about what you believe. Sagittarius is known as a sign of honesty. Bigger. You may feel more honest and direct about what you believe. Interesting. It's interesting how Sagittarius, the zodiac sign Sagittarius, is a mutable sign, and the zodiac sign Pisces, which is the sign of belief and compassion, is also a mutable sign. So, not for nothing, Sagittarius, Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, they're a family. The same way that Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra is the family. The same way that Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo are a family. All right. We have modality families and we have elemental families. We'll get into that in another video. Um, you might feel inspired to explore something new or think outside the box. Outside the box is Aquarian, the otter, detached, outside of the norm, outside of the group. At the same time that Aquarius is the groups and it's contained, it's also not contained and don't contain me and looks to wait for ways to get out of that containment and to be free. Sagittarius and Aquarius are both signs, they're visionaries and they're also signs of freedom, not for nothing and for something. Emotions feel lighter when you focus on growth. If you're in a place of sorrow, sadness, right? Just by putting a smile on your face and looking at some of your things that you would like to do, making a list, and that focus allows you to shift your perspective. Lighter feelings. Emotions feel lighter when you focus on growth rather than problems. This transit encourages emotional truth. Aquarius is the sign of truth and intellectual independence, right? Especially when you learn and grow and explore and research. Um, you find this, the midpoint of Sagittarius and Aquarius is Capricorn. What does this mean? It means that the energy of knowledge and the energy of wisdom, they meet through structure. It gives structure, it gives status, it brings status, or it creates this status energetic. It creates this control when you've learned and you have a vision for the future, right? It brings a structure, it brings a strength to you. You know, your steps are a little more sturdy because you know where you're going. Ah, get out of here. I'm going somewhere. I got stuff to do. You may feel less attached to emotional drama and more drawn to possibility. Possibility, Sagittarius, Aquarius is the hope, the wish. Sagittarius is the journey. This is the day for hope, perspective, and forward movement. So keep those things in mind. Keep those things in mind. We got more zodiac signs. Who's voted zodiac sign? Capricorn. Um, no cash. That's fine. Your comment is like $1. Appreciate you. Do Earth get bigger or not? Eventually it gets bigger. That's an aspect relationship. Liver. You started talking about the liver. Yes, liver is also associated with Sagittarius. And when we look at the functionality of the liver, it ties into expanse and bigger and being big and what it is allowed to do. You know, I want to look at that so bad, but I'm gonna Wait on that. Sagittarius, that's a banger. That's a good. Um, I said Sagittarius. So Srio, excuse me. Capricorn's family. Capricorn, notice the colors. You can notice the colors show you the family member. Capricorn here is green, Taurus is green, Virgo is green. This is the Capricorn family for the element. For the modality, Capricorn, Aries, Cancer, and Libra are the modality family of Capricorn. The thing about the modality families is that they're always, we could look at it as they're always not angry at each other. How would we say that? Whenever they're around each other, the energy is tense. Ooh, I like that. I like that. And somebody has to give a little bit. They both have to give in order for the relationship to work. For example, Capricorn is the mode of cardinality, right? It's enterprising. It's enterprising on structure, right? Aries, Capricorn's brother or sister, is a cardinal sign and it's enterprising with enthusiasm, right? So imagine an enthusiastic brother and imagine a brother who's structured, like got the suit and tie. And imagine this brother with an army suit on. Sir, yes, sir. Right? Sir, yes, sir. Get lieutenant. This is the lieutenant. Aries, let Aries be the lieutenant or the soldier, right? Because the soldier is youthful. It's not as maybe Capricorn would be the lieutenant. Anyway, soldier, Aries, um, businessman, Capricorn. They're brothers. They're brothers, but they each got to give in order for that relationship to stretch and for it to work for growth, right? The militancy of Aries and the business nature of Capricorn. In order for for them to work and for growth, they got to stretch. Sometimes Aries has to calm down on his soldierism a little bit and see what the Capricorn brother is talking about with the business, right? And through that growth, Aries becomes a little more structured. So sometimes the business brother has to look at the militant and be like, "Ooh, that's how I get a militant like that. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, ooh, Mufasa. Ooh, ooh, like." And so there's a growth there. Now, if the two brothers don't see eye to eye and they're like, "Oh, you're nothing without me. I don't need you." There's no growth. There's no stretch, if you will. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Um, you need some lighter emotions right now? Put a smile on your face. Izzy, you redacted your comment? Why? Don't do that. I know they are some, but I don't feel connected with them. You're connected with them. There's a focus, Nikki. It's possible. I'm not a consult your primary care physician. I'm gonna go back here. I was thinking about this yesterday before I went to bed. I was thinking about going back to when I started doing these lives again on YouTube. I'm gonna go back to the beginning of the year, which to me symbolically is December 25th. It was the beginning of the year, um, energetically, or the beginning of a cycle, in that December 25th marked a time where the days begin to get longer, 4 minutes at a time. December 24th, from December 21st to December 22nd, that 24-hour period, the sun was at its lowest. From December 22nd to December 23rd, the second day, the sun was at its lowest. December 23rd, December 24th, the third day. We see this 3-day story in many different places, but we'll get into that in a later video. On December 25th, the days begin to get longer. Depending on where you are located on the earth, that's what it is. Now, that and contemplating on that, meditating on that, allowed me to see how That allowed me to contemplate and meditate a little more on the nature of Capricorn and how it applied to life. And what came to mind was the process or the stages of development from a baby to the toddler stages. Capricorn is said to be a zodiac sign that's ruled by Saturn, Father Time, and it's ancient and about structure and discipline and as such. However, in another school of thought, inside of the same program, we can also look at Capricorn as the baby. We can look at it as the baby, or we can look at the sun starting off its journey of growth from Capricorn as the 25th is the day that the days begin to get longer. So the first thing of the start of that shift is structure, which is interesting to me. I started thinking about a baby and how a baby rolls before it crawls and crawls before it walks. You know what I'm saying? And walks before it runs. Right? That phase, those stages of development made me think about Capricorn. And so looking at Capricorn and Saturn even more, we look at the goat and how the goat, as it's in its baby stage, it takes its time as it's following mom and dad up the mountain, up this treacherous slope, right? Maybe not treacherous to them, they're not scared at all. But I looked at that, right? Structure and time and patience, right? And I associated that with myself with I'm no longer a baby, but perhaps I could take those two symbolisms, those two symbols and those metaphors, apply those as metaphors to my life, and that I take time in the beginning as opposed to making a resolution and starting off with this grandiose idea that I'm going to do for the entire year. And by goddamn spring, I'm no longer doing it. Capricorn by itself makes me think of observation, the observer, the businessman or the CEO or the boss of the company is constantly observing. It's not necessarily the CEO is not necessarily moving around and staying busy by looking busy. The CEO or the millionaire or the billionaire is structuring more meditation, more contemplation, more like a guru. Notice how Capricorn is so close to the guru, the sign of the guru, Sagittarius. So I looked at that. And what I looked at when I looked at my body, I was like, how do I take my time a little more? And then so I came upon the nervous system, because the regulation of myself, taking my time and being more controlled and regulating myself gives me more stability to be able to process and integrate and, activate in that regard. So I stayed and I'm still here with the nervous system a little bit. And I point here to Gemini because the relationship that Gemini to Capricorn are with each other in the zodiacal relationship map is that the nervous system and the regulation of one's nervous system actually allows one to be in a controlled business person type of behavior. What I'm trying to say is the nervous system brings a sense of calm. The regulation of the nervous system, from my perspective and me being identifying as a scientist and treating myself as a test subject has been working for me like that. When I regulate my nervous system and calm, my processes are more efficient. And I looked at that in the zodiacal chart and I was like, well, not for nothing. That seems like and it appears like I can put this into my mind palace and situate this as an experience that can be treated as a principle. That is the actual functionality that happens inside of my body. And so I say that and I go back to that because then I started looking at the planetary ruler, Saturn, which is the ruler of Capricorn. And I said, let me look. Now I'm in the baby stages. I'm working on rolling, regulating my nervous system. Let me look. Oh, Saturn's in Pisces. Maybe if, only if the universe was a person that was talking, maybe it would say, have a little more grace with myself and care and compassion. Maybe. if I were to apply this stuff, let me try this thing here. Let me identify with the scientist or the alchemist and apply and be the test subject and have a little more grace with myself. Now we can do this regardless of the fact of whom or what, and more winters, more December 25th. I'm going to let that be a time from this point moving forward to the best of my ability to be like, hey, this is the crawling stage. Not to pile a bunch of stuff and a bunch of work onto the baby, but to observe the baby and to really live in the role in the beginning stages of development and focus on regulating my nervous system as opposed to adding more stuff like a resolution or something and getting myself all worked up when I have other shit going on. So it was a reminder, right? Next December 25th, if we were to look in the future, which is applicable to this video, the sun is in Aquarius. Next December 25th, when the sun is in Capricorn, Saturn's going to be in Aries. So when I'm in the rolling baby stages, right, I'm going to observe myself and be mindful of impulse. Hey, whoa, let's back up. Let's take away some of the impulse. And I got 2 December 25th for that impulse for me to reflect on impulse. And then after that, in 3 years, Saturn will be in Taurus. And so I am rolling on December 25th into my, my baby stage, the adolescent stages, if you will, or the pre-stages of my crawl, right? I'm looking at values. Do I value myself? Am I worth it? Yes, I'm worth it. Worth as I regulate my nervous system. So this becomes to be like a map that you can have as a tool. So many tools out there. I'm offering it as a tool. Nikki, you started saying things in the comments. You started synthesizing. So special. You started synthesizing. It's possible. Look it up. Look it up. What's up? Welcome in. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Here we go. Let me see. 15 all for 1 5 KFC. Welcome in. Um, no idea what you're talking about. It's a lot of different components in there. I appreciate you. Um, and your comment. I would like to understand what that means. I would love to comprehend what that means. Um, Anywho, who's next? Zodiac signs in the comments. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. I'm reminded of how, um, with the moon in Sagittarius, I'm reminded of the zodiac sign Capricorn. With the moon in Sagittarius, there's a couple things. I'm reminded of wisdom, right? And the teacher and the energetic of teaching and discipleship or student, which could be looked at as a disciple. Right. I'm also reminded of truth through experience, truth and experience, teaching truth. This is quite simple. We could just quite simply put Sagittarius and Aquarius together like teaching, Sag, truth. Right. And what's in between teaching and truth from a zodiacal perspective is Capricorn, which is structure, stability, control. Right. So the teacher or the one who's educated or someone who's attempting to teach somebody something, a good sign is control in that. I'm well. Thank you so much. I appreciate. We got 27 thumbs up on this thing. This is amazing. I'm hyped for this. I appreciate all of you for your subscriptions, for your thumbs up, and all of this. For real. Um, let's go back here. I missed some of some of the comments here. Sagittarius. I talked about Sagittarius a little bit, the teacher, right? Sagittarius is the teacher. The moon is in Sagittarius. It's kind of like a time to reflect, a recalibration, a beginning of a new cycle, an ending and a new beginning for you. If when you were born the sun was in Sagittarius and now that the moon is in Sagittarius, right? What's old is accumulated learning, and what's new is new learning to accumulate, getting rid of and then reincorporating. Not for nothing. Also for Sagittarius, speaking up for yourself, being a little more inquisitive, asking questions. If you have a question in your mind, seeking, finding the answer, you know what I'm saying? Being a little more intentional about that. Scorpio rising, where are you? Scorpio rising's here, right? Moon in Sagittarius is the place in the chart that focuses on themes surrounding the value of yourself, right? Valuing yourself and knowing your worth. And also with Aquarius, the add on for Aquarius for Scorpio risings is your internal dialogue, your foundation, your emotional base, checking that, right? And that could be done through nervous system regulation as well. Aquarius is an air sign, which is connected to Gemini, which is connected to um, Libra. That's interesting because I talked about Capricorn being the beginning stages. Aquarius is the very next stage after Capricorn, and Aquarius has to do with the future, and it also has to do with containment, and it also has to do with a technique, the application of a technique. Not for nothing. A forward progress, a technique that can be applied for forward progress. That's the value there. Right? So that's the base. That's Scorpio's base of Aquarius, a foundation for truth, a foundation for applied technique. Okay. Um, Miss Cree, may I ask you your sun sign, Mr. Alchemist? You have three guesses. I like to have fun with it. You know, um, if you get it right in those three guesses, I will say you're right. Three guesses alive. You get three guesses alive. um um oh, Nikki, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the comment. I don't know which part you were talking about because there was a little bit of a delay and I started flowing. Um, but the regulation of the nervous system is so important. You know, even if I'm not a doctor, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a certificate. I don't have a certificate. I'm not a certificate doctor. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a doctor anyway. I'm just not a doctor. But it's worth exploring and observing the body and how the body works. I've been exploring. I can only talk about myself. I've been exploring and have been finding benefit in inhaling for longer, more seconds intentionally, and exhaling for longer seconds intentionally. Inhaling for longer seconds, holding it for more seconds, exhaling the breath for longer seconds. And I'm not doing that to stop thought. In my meditation, which to me, or from this point moving forward, or from the December 25th point moving forward, I was looking at meditation as contemplation on one thing at a time, as opposed to meditation being a breathing technique. And I say that because when I looked at the root meaning of the word meditation, it doesn't actually mean breath work. It's become to mean breath work. And that's so important to me because it ties into the root meaning of words, which is extremely important in life. It's extremely important to me. I hold value in the root meaning of words, and it's done so much for me in regards to my development as myself with myself and in my life. But what I'm trying to say is that um, I've been working more on being observant of myself, pausing. Not for nothing, Capricorn is the zodiac sign of the pause. It's the freeze. Literally, in the northern latitudes, we are literally freezing. I just got out of a freezing state, not for nothing. And no, the sun is in Aquarius. And of course, these past 3 weeks, I have frozen. My body has frozen where I had to come. It's interesting how when you're cold, you turn more inward. You focus a little bit more on staying warm. You're like, oh, you want close up like a cocoon. You're inside. You turn more within. And that actually ties into what I said earlier about the forever ship or the forever relationship that zodiac signs are in. Capricorn is the shortest days of the year, the darkest days of the year. There's even this thing called sad, like where we're in the winter time, the winter, 3 months of winter, people are more sad and more miserable because there's not much sun. However, the opposition of Cancer, the summer, is the exact opposite of the winter. Summer is the exact opposite. The emotions, there's a possibility that we would benefit from looking at the emotional well being a little bit more. There's more check ins, not for nothing. From my observation, consult with your primary care physician. Consult with your primary care physician, por favor. But if or as I use this 12 zodiacal clock as a mind palace for myself to plug in experiences, Capricorn, the winter turns into a special place of going within and checking my emotions and my feelings through the regulation of my nervous system. Excuse me, Gemini. Cancer is the checking of my emotions. I can check, oh, I'm sad. Oh, let me pause for a moment. Let me freeze. Let me freeze and check my emotions. Freeze, Capricorn, check my emotions. Let me regulate my nervous system. Let me recognize my value to see who I am and resurrect my belief system because I know the truth about, which stems from the freeze. You know, it's a mind palace for real. You see me? And so, I hope that was comprehensible. You might have to slow that down a little bit, but um, I'm pointing to Capricorn, although we're in Aquarius and this freezing period was within the last 3 weeks of Aquarius, because Aquarius is the middle of the winter, not for nothing and for something at the same time. The connection of Capricorn and Aquarius is present when we look at the planetary rulership. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, Aquarius is anciently ruled by Saturn. It's hard for Geminis for me, anyways. Muscles tense when cold, like muscle memory. Right. It's more for focus and senses. You could say that it's hard for you, right? I hear exactly what you're saying, and you might be 100% correct. Consult with your primary care physician, but what I've also noticed is that words have power. And I'm not necessarily saying like if I say that I'm going to be a millionaire, it's not necessarily that if I keep saying that I'm going to eventually be a millionaire. There's a nuance to it and a twist to it, and I recognize that through my observation of how I talk to my children. You know, like not only what I say, but how I say it. You know what I'm saying? It does something to the, the system. You know, if I say, I love you, you know what I'm saying? That's one regard. But if I say, I love you, and I look you dead in your eyes, you start to cry. Ooh, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not you, but my daughters. What are you doing? It's a certain way I say it. What are you doing? Say the same thing the way that you say it. It affects the nervous system. The nervous system responds. So I'm saying that, and what I'm trying to say is that the way that you say that to yourself, your body responds just like a child responds. You know? Oh, it's hard for me. It's hard for me. Muscle memory. Oh, it's hard. Oh, the cells are like, she thinks it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Let's get ready for hardship. Let's get ready for hardship, possibly, right? As opposed to the feeling. Here's another one. Not only the way that you communicate and how you say a thing, but also in how you hold your body, your constitution, how you position is also muscle memory. You talk about muscle memory. I read this book that the body keeps the score. So a lot of stuff that we feel, actually we feel it in the body. For example, muscle memory. If I'm depressed and I'm sad, right, and I got a frown on, studies show, it's not me. I didn't say this. Check it, look it up for yourself, that when you put a smile on, it automatically changes the frequency in your body. Your muscles are sending signals to your nervous system. Again, the nervous system. And the nervous system is Gemini. So if it's hard for you and you're a Gemini, then there may be an importance for you to be intentional, check your emotions a little bit more than the average to regulate the nervous system. Check my emotions. How do I feel? Okay, let me bounce back in here. Okay, the breath work doesn't work. Okay, let me use aromatherapy. Okay, aromatherapy doesn't work. Let me go for a walk. Okay, the walk's not working. Let me take a bath. Okay, the bath's not working. Let me take a shower. Okay, the shower's not working. Let me do a cold plunge. Okay, let me jump off. You know what I'm saying? Let me do something fun or something, maybe. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the senses, there's a constant checking of the emotions in the wintertime. And I'm pointing here and pointing here because this is a symbol that reminds me of the zodiac sign Cancer, which also reminds me of the beginning of winter. This is a zodiac sign Capricorn, automatically reminds me of the winter and the start of winter and December 21st and the beginning of the cold and knowing that it's cold. When the sun is in Scorpio, I'm already, man, winter's coming. And we talk about it. Even if you don't know about the zodiac, you still talk the zodiac, you still talk the seasons. We all interpret the seasons constantly because we've seen it so many times. You know what I'm saying? Like we're already feeling it now. We're already looking for the spring, excitement, energy, enthusiasm. You know what I'm saying? And we're approximately 38 days away from March 21st, which is the marker point. Aries, this symbol here marks March 21st. It's the marking point, it's a marker for Mars, for the god of war, the god of excitement, or the god of action. Not necessarily that it's a real God, but we're using that as a metaphor because the great is something that's seasonal, right? The winter is seasonal, the spring is seasonal, summer is seasonal, fall is seasonal. Oh, this stuff doesn't work. Okay, fine, that's fine. It doesn't work, but it's still there. If we wipe all this away, it would still be there. We would still have the winter. We would still have the spring. We would still have, if you wanted to symbolize it as something else, it's fine. Symbol it as something else, but it's still there energetically. That's what you do have. Right? When it comes to the planets and the stars and stuff like that, you can't always see them. Some people live in cities, megalithic cities with tall sky rises. They don't even see it. They're so distant and detached from it. But it's still happening. The seasons are still happening. All right, there's that. Let me go back to my notes here. I think I was almost finished. For the sun in Aquarius, moon in Sagittarius. One line transit summary for this. And I'm doing this live for a reminder. I'm actually doing this for myself. Actually, I'm being self first. I'm putting myself first and doing what it is that I love. If you pick up something from it, cool. If you don't, cool. It's all cool. Either way, it's a win-win situation for me, especially for me, especially for me. Um, Practice saying this smoothly. Okay, I don't know. You might have to rewind this video. This is the time of emotional expansion and higher awareness. Let me say it together so you can, if you want to rewind it. This is the time of emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. This is the time of emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. This is a time of emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture while I feel inspired to move forward. This is a time of emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. This is a time of emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. This is a time of emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. This is a time of emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. This is a time of emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture or stepping back to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. This is a time of emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. This is a time of emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. This is a time of mental, emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. This is a time of emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see a bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. This is a time of emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. This is a time of emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. This is a time of emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. This is a time of emotional expansion and higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. So if that was 15 times. It might have sounded redundant, and it started to feel redundant when I was saying it. However, it creates a neural pathway, stepping back, right, to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. Now it's like a neural pathway. It's like I done made a cut, done made a shortcut in my mind. Bow, flip. And so, what my point is, that was for those who say they have challenging time with things, right? Because it's a matter of you being prescribed medicine, and sometimes medicine is not necessarily an actual um, an objective thing. It can be a psychological thing or a communicative thing. It could be a practice. It could be an exercise that strengthens the neural pathway, even right? Because that just strengthened my a neural pathway in me. I said that 15 times. Stepping back to see the bigger picture while having the emotional feeling inspired to move forward, right? So it's like it kind of goes with the memory. And as you say, things that are inspiring, it helps you. You know what I'm saying? Not for nothing. All right, who's next? Sun in Aquarius. This is a time of emotional expansion and higher awareness. Emotional expansion, Sagittarius, and higher awareness, Aquarius. Expansion, Sag, awareness, higher awareness, not for nothing. Structured awareness, Aquarius. Truthful awareness. And from that mental expansion and higher awareness brings a structure, it brings a stability, a stabilizer. Capricorn. Hayes Garden, you're next. Welcome in. Thank you for the likes. Wow, we got 29 thumbs up on here. Thank you for the subscriptions. Thank you for the likes and the thumbs up. I appreciate all of you. We're talking about the sun in Aquarius, the moon in Sagittarius, and some of the other things that stem from this through this symbolism, if you will. Put your zodiac sign in the comments. Mm. Zodiac signs in the comments. What is the root meaning? What is the root meaning of the word expansion? Let's go into it a little bit. Let's uncover, unclothe, and go bit deeper. Great word to explore, especially for astrology, because expansion is pure Sagittarius Jupiter energy, linguistically and symbolically. Expansion comes from the Latin word expandere. Break it down. Ex, out, outward, beyond. Pandere, to spread, to stretch, to unfold, to lay open. Unfolding, the great unfolding. Ooh, I like it. So the original meaning is to spread out. Let's spread all this out so you can see. One of the key motto for Sagittarius is seeing, seeing what you know, so I can see the experience, not the futuristic. The word futuristic is a descriptive word for Aquarius, but it's not necessarily. I guess it is in the future. It is in the future, but Sagittarius is the precursor. What I'm recognizing it is the precursor to Aquarius. I can see how Sagittarius is the fire sign and Aquarius is an air sign, and they work together in my mind palace as I look at the root meaning of the word expansion, which is a character trait of Sagittarius to spread out. Because when I spread things out for the student comprehends it and they're curious questions. Oh, what about this? What if this? What if that? What if this? Okay, let me spread this out for you a little bit. Let me unfold it. Let me open it up so you can see the entirety of the thing. And by that, seeing the precursor of spreading it out, now I have a knowledge going into it. It builds a structure that now I can apply in my experiences. This is a part of preparation, not for nothing. Um, Taurus, Sun, Pisces, Moon. Taurus here. Taurus is here. This month has so much to do with your career and your reputation, right? Your status, your public image, how other people view you. Not for nothing for Taurus, right? This month, the past 3 weeks have shone a light on all of the ups and downs that you've experienced over the course of the past 7 years, all in this little 3 weeks, so much. Notice that? Notice that. And I'm recognizing that because there's a connection between Taurus, the bull, which is an earth sign. Notice the green. Taurus is the family member with Virgo. Valuing yourself through health, valuing yourself through structure, your time and your energy, where it goes. Notice that, right? The moon in Sagittarius this time is expansion, stepping back. So you can see the bigger picture when it comes to the people that you engage with. Ooh, good one. Good one. Good two. Good 2.5 days worth. Yesterday was a peak, a sneak peek, potentially, possibly, theoretically. You'd have to look. You'd have to step back and look at the bigger picture a little bit. Kay's garden, that was for you, right? Pisces moon, sensitive, tough time for you, for emotional content and the family. Ooh, right? You've graduated in a sense. It's not over. This next 2 years is the last stage of it. It's potency. But these last 2 years were significantly potent. emotional control, controlling the diet, right? Controlling, your emotions, taking your time a little bit more with yourself, potentially. Cancer here. You're tired. If you're tired, then it's time to get some rest. If you're tired, it's time for rest. And this is where you regain some of your strength and your confidence. Quite simply, rest. Consult your primary care physician. But I'm almost certain if you went to your primary care physician and you said, I'm tired, primary care physician, it'd be beneficial if they said, hey, well, what time do you go to bed? Could you go to bed a little bit earlier? I know what you mean when you say that you're tired of these experiences that are possibly manifesting in your life, but the remedy for that is also rest and reserving yourself. Taurus is a sign of reservation, not for nothing. Taurus is a sign of patience. Taurus is a sign of persistence too, as well, not for nothing. I'm excited to look at your chart, do a deep dive on your chart, and see how um, we can use astrology as a tool to empower you. How you can look at astrology to be empowered. Right, that tiredness is really a great thing. Being tired is a great thing. Going through struggles is a great thing. Why do I say it's a great thing? It's a great thing because through those struggles that you actually see, and you appreciate the smaller things in life too. You know, it might seem like that. Come on Sundays. Sundays are deep dive between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. ish, maybe 4 p.m. if I'm having a blast. I'd like to extend my Sundays lives for deep dives. Sunday live deep dive, donation based deep dives. I love it. Diamonds are made from intense pressure. Talk about it. Talk about the diamonds. Talk about the pearls. Talk about the pressure. You know, we even use the word pressure. Some pressure is good pressure, not for nothing and for something. What is it worth? What is it worth? Pearls, 500 pearls. You know what I mean? What is it worth? Taurus, the sign of worth. Pisces, the sign of belief. This is the combination for you. This is what you're born. Your birth contract. The contract that you agreed with you agreed with something. I don't know what you agreed with. I don't know what I agreed with. I wasn't there. Consult your primary care physician might not even know. But Taurus, Pisces. I was talking about how Aquarius and Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign, Aquarius is an air sign, Taurus is an earth sign, Pisces is a water sign. Notice how water, I was going to say earth pours into water. Depends if it's an avalanche, maybe. Yep. Look, notice how the water, Pisces pours onto Taurus, Pisces first, then Taurus, right? Pours onto the water that makes the ground fertile, right? This would be the belief, right? This is your emotions, your emotional well being. Es muy importante. How have you been treating yourself? I was tired. You're tired. Well, I'm concerned about the emotional content. What's the emotions about, right? You don't have to explain everything in the comments. Um, you can listen here. It pays to listen too. Because I don't want you to reveal everything in the comments. We're on a public platform, so you don't have to spill, all of the tea here. For Simi, of course it's killing you. It's killing all of us. But the one thing that we're promised when we're born is death, right from the womb. Beautiful, pretty babies, right? Live their life, crawl, well, roll, crawl, walk, run, sprint, jump, then you get into goddamn state of death. It's inevitable. It's a beautiful thing. We see it every time. We see it every day. Not for nothing. We see the sun rise. Oh, life, and then it dies. Gone every day. Rises. Oh, life. Peak. The sun peaks, and then it dies every day. Life. Oh, live your life, and it peaks. We have some peaking. Wow, trophies, certificates, recognition, and then we die. Oh, friends, business. Oh, we used to have our own business. Oh, wow, we learned so much from that business. Oh, now we're dying. We're starting to die. Ah, we're dead every single day. Oh, and then we're dead. Oh, oh. No, I just like doing that. I don't know why. But perhaps, I don't know. I could be wrong. Consult with your primary care physician. I don't know. Maybe your primary care physician wouldn't agree with you, me either. But I'm of the mind if I have more fun about that, then maybe I'd have a little more fun in this man jammer. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. Yeah, duh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, but you're living right now. Oh, enjoy that. Everything is balanced. Bada bow. Come on now. Thank you for the likes. We got 32 thumbs up. Appreciate all of you who are thumb upping the live. Appreciate you subscribing. Um, appreciate you. Watch the video. But Pisces is the sign of belief, and it's the sign of compassion. Okay, I would guess, it would be a zodiacal guess, that you haven't been compassionate with yourself and forgiving of yourself. Kay's garden. What's the garden look like, Kay? Huh? What's the garden look like, Kay? Huh? What's the garden? Have you put yourself in? Have you taketh away? I was talking yesterday. If you watched my video yesterday, I was talking about it, but I'm gonna do another sneak peek. I was talking about how Pluto is the planet of death, one symbol of death. Saturn, before Pluto was rediscovered, because I think Pluto was discovered before it was discovered. The date that they say Pluto was discovered, I'm of the mind that it's a rediscovery, but that's another video. But Pluto is the symbol of death. Before Pluto, Saturn was considered the planet, excuse me, of death. And I noticed how Saturn, in my studies, that Saturn is a teacher, similar to Jupiter, right? If you look at the symbols, they're actually flop. We're going to get into symbolism too if you stay on the channel long enough someday, right? But Saturn symbol is the flip side of Jupiter. Jupiter is the arc above matter, which is the cross, and Saturn is the arc below matter, which is the cross, the consecrated point. You know, in the symbolism here, you have consecrated points for the planetary stations. Mercury, consecrated point, and you got a circle and a crescent above. Venus, consecrated point and a circle. Mars doesn't have a consecrated point. Pluto, consecrated point, crescent, circle. Uranus, consecrated point, symbol, sides, underneath. Consecrated point, arc, right? What else? The moon doesn't have a consecrated point. But what I'm saying with that is that Jupiter is the greater fortune, Saturn is the lesser fortune. They're both teachers. They're both teachers, but Saturn is the teacher by taking away. Ooh, let's look at that a little bit because your moon is in Pisces, or the moon was in Pisces when you were born. So it taketh things away a little bit. It takes away some of the emotion, takes away some of the care. It's interesting you put too much, have too much, and Saturn has taught, possibly, potentially, theoretically, you about things when they're taken. Stiletto shoes, take them. Bugatti car, take it. Good friends, take it. You know, $1 million job, take it. Now you got a six-figure job. Take all of that shit. You know, do with less. Learn how to go with less and go with faith. Right? Take it. Take it all. We're gonna take it all from you. Take it. Now deal with it. Now Saturn's like, here, deal with it now. Now let's see. Let's see how you do. Do you fold? Do you crumble? Do you fold and crumble? Ooh. Do you fold and crumble? Ooh. Or do you still have that same enthusiasm like you had when you had the stilettos and the Bugatti? The powers are just wondering. Not me. Not me. I don't take it. I didn't take the stilettos and the Bugatti. How would you do if we took everything? Would you still have that same joy? These are tests. Notice how the motherhood, right? You start reflecting on your childhood. You can do two things when you go there. You can either blame and be the victim, or you can accept it and look at it and see what it's shown you too. That's another piece that's been real tough, challenging, possibly. I don't know. I don't have the moon in Pisces. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I've experienced Saturn near the moon. When Saturn's near the moon, okay, that's what I have. I don't want to go too deep today. Save some of that for Sunday, deep dive Sunday. Did everybody have a good time that's here? Did you enjoy it? Like the live. We got 33 likes. Yes. 33 thumbs up. I appreciate all of you. TikTok, thank you so much. I'm glad that you're glad, actually. You're in for a whole heap of information. And it's not necessarily, I'm like, I've been I went on a fast, a writing fast, because I um I just like writing. I like writing, I like drawing, and in the beginning stages of me learning the charts, I've actually, I drew them. Someone came in here and said they drew them and it's too hard, it's too technical. Thank you for the reminder. And it was so painstaking, but I learned so much, you know, like the similarity of a brand of branding an object is how drawing a chart over and over, first house, second house, third house, drawing a chart, so one for second, and doing that repetitiously, has created this mind palace. Now I'm at the stage where I'm dropping my experiences into this mind palace. I'm redropping my experience into the mind palace as much as I can. And what does that do? It helps so much with becoming aware, a wisdom and an awareness and emotional. What was it? An emotional intelligence? Y'all remember what it was? I forgot. I could probably pull the file. There's actually a specific sequence to memorizing things. I didn't even finish talking about unfolding. So much. I get excited. I'm working on calming myself, going back to the winter point and regulating my nervous system. This is a time of emotional expansion, higher awareness, stepping back to see the bigger picture while feeling inspired to move forward. That's the combination that we came up with collectively. If you go back to the beginning of the video, there's a bunch of meat in here. Pause. Aquarius and Sagittarius. Um, One of the key traits of Sagittarius is expansion. Not for nothing. Samantha, you have the moon in Pisces, so the interpretation that I was just sharing and talking about is also applies to you. The things that I was sharing would have applied to you. Same as Cave's Garden. You and Cave's Garden have the similar moon station, right? It seems like such a treacherous place there. But I want to go here to the word said that the word expansion, which is a descriptive word of Sagittarius in so many different ways. If you go back earlier in the video, you'll find out how Sagittarius is expansive. But I'm into looking at the root meaning of words. That's such a secret gem there. Y'all are going to catch that sooner than later. It's not even a secret gem, it's a gem by itself. It's a gem all by itself. I'm so excited for that, for the discovery of that, for your discovery of that, because as we do that together, then there's going to be a collective pool of brainstorming where we can arrive at collective interpretations. I'm really excited for this thing. I've been thinking about this for quite some time. For quite some time. You know, they say like great minds think alike, like minds think great as well. It's a flip, a duality to that. I'm so excited for that. I might not be here. I might have transitioned by then. I don't know. Some of you younger ones are gonna have to take the torch, right? But the word expansion means to spread out, to unfold, right? Not for nothing. And it's interesting to me how the zodiac sign Sagittarius, his family members was Pisces. Sagittarius is the end of fall. Pisces is the end of winter. They're both mutable signs. Now this goes for your moon and Pisces. This is one more, and then I'm out of here. I don't want to read it your whole chart. But notice how Pisces is so Sagittarius and Pisces are brothers and they're sisters, right? They're brothers or sisters, but they're brothers and sisters that there's always tension between them. There's always a tension between them, and that tension is something that can grow through a process of stretching. And when I say stretch, it's like, the belief, the sister, the Pisces sister has to stretch and see some ways in which to expand the belief. And the Sagittarius sister has to see some ways in which to believe, right? Spreading out through the belief. This is the stretch between, they're forever in this tight, tense. It's a tension. If you look at the root meaning of the word tension, you find tendon, you find tendency. They all have to do with stretch. A tendon stretches. I think of the hamstring as I've been working on stretching my hamstrings. That string, that tension. Get it? Tension, stretch, right? So there's a stretch there. Pisces is stretched when it comes to the belief and their thought process. There's a stretch there. Right? Now, there's two ways in which you can have your thought process. You can think you can drown in the goddamn misery and the depression, right? Or you can be optimistic in your thinking with the thought process. When the Sagittarius sister is tense with the Pisces sister, there's a tension with the Gemini sister. The Gemini sister is having tension with the Pisces sister, saying, "Hey, yo, why don't you think? Stretch over here too. Stretch." So Pisces is being stretched by their expanding their horizons and their thought process. In layman's terms, whatever the experience is that seems so pressed and heavy, right? Are you stretching with your thought process and your mindset? Are you stretching with your ability to expand your horizons or be in a broader, more loftier, expansive mindset to overcome said tension that you're in, which would be the moon in Pisces while Saturn has been there, right? Pisces is constantly tensed and stretched by two sisters or two brothers, Gemini and Sagittarius. That's a perfect way analogy. That's so good, right? And at the same time, there's a sister over here that Pisces is looking at as a Virgo sister over here, which is speaking to analysis and details and health, right? This sister is not creating so much tension with the Pisces sister. This sister over here is saying, "Hey, I can help you with look at some of the details that the Gemini sister is telling you to stretch about. It's telling you to think a little, process your thoughts, use a little more logic. I have something to offer for that. Use a little more detail. What is the Gemini sister actually saying to allow you to stretch? Ah, look at that. Look at that. That's genius. Cosmic Sagittarius sister stretching Pisces, expand your horizons, grow. How can you grow from this experience? Virgo sister is like, yo, I can help you with that. I can help you. Here, take some of this food for nourishment. You look malnourished. You look a little skinny. Or here, take some vegetables. You've been eating goddamn Kit Kats for the goddamn past 3 months for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You've been eating Kit Kats. Hey, take some of this health. Take some tear. Yeah, man, I'm struggling down here in the intestines because the organs aren't living because you're eating nothing but Twix candy bars. You can't do it. Here, let me help you. Right? This is the forever ship, the relationship between Pisces and Virgo. I'll see you in the next video.